Ladies and goblin men, here are the character sheet basics brought to you by Miss Evil DM herself, Nyx.
Hey you, yes you, is your first game on Roll20 and on the Blue Hoods coming? Do you have no idea how to use your character sheet outside of importing and exporting? Well, we are about to fix that. In this short video, we will teach you how to properly use your character sheet in-game after the DM gives you access to it. Let's start with the basics. You might ask yourself, where can I find my character sheet? The answer to that question is quite simple really. In your journal. Over here. Just like when you were creating your character. Great! Now that we have your sheet located, what can we do with it? By clicking its name once, you can open it up, just like so. From here, it should open up a new little tab window in Roll20, like so. You should be able to see your character name over here, and underneath it, a tab called Character Sheet, just like so. There's where all of your character's abilities should be, their stats, attacks, movement, AC, also known as armor class, HP, also known as hit points, skills, and last but not least, death saves. From our first interactive part of the sheet, we should begin with quote-unquote stat checks. When a dungeon master requests a check, for example strength check, you open up your sheet, just like we have it right now, and look to the left of your sheet. You see your stats here. You would click the big button called strength over here, and you will just click it and it will say it into the chat. This works for every single one of these stats that you have, be it dexterity, constitution, charisma, intelligence, or wisdom, of course. To the right of our stats we have a tab called saves. When your DM asks you for a saving throw, you click onto one of the words resembling the save you need, just like we did with our checks. For concentrations, you would use your constitution checks, and for death saves, you will use this little button. Underneath it, we have a little tab called skill checks. It works the same way as the two previous ones. You will click the check that your DM asks you for. For example, we would want to identify a spell. That would call for perhaps an Arcana check. And now our DM will tell us if we succeed or fail on recognizing the spell. Whenever you are making any of these checks, our saving throws, make sure that your character sheet has this little box checked in with the ones that you are proficient in. Proficiency means that you add this little proficiency bonus to your roll. So if you will be proficient in nature, you will want to make sure that this little nature box is clicked in, providing an instant +2 to our rolls. Underneath skills, we have this little tab called Tool Proficiencies and Custom Skills. What do we do with it? Oh, tools are used for specific actions. For example, weaver's tools, as per the PHB, we could identify what sort of cloth the clothing is made out of with a successful DC 5. We could remake some sort of clothing with a successful DC 10. And we could create our own set of clothing with a successful DC 15. Well, what are those facts for us then? When you want to do such an activity, you would click your tools. We will use our weaver's tools, and you will select the attribute that you would use it with. Weaver's tools are commonly used with wisdom, so we will use our wisdom and click submit. Rolling an 8, we will be able to successfully recognize a cloth, but not able to make our own little clothing. Oh well, how sad. If you do not know what skill your tool requires, you can ask the DM or look into the PHB, which will usually tell you what set of skills you need and what and should use. Moving a little bit to the right side, we over here have attacks and spellcasting. In this tab you should be able to find all of your possible ways of attack and your spells, if it is set up properly, that is. It is as easy as clicking the name of the attack you want, such as Ray of Frost. And it will, well, roll the dice, add in our attack bonus, and roll the damage afterwards. If you are a spellcaster, sometimes your spells will request you to input the level of the spell you are casting. The spell's level is equal to the level of the spell slot you are using. If your spells are set up properly, then they should automatically roll any additional dice from higher levels from any higher level cast of a spell, such as with Mind Spike. What if I wanted to not cast it on level 2, but on level 6? What happens? Well, it will deal a whole lot more damage. Sometimes your DM might ask you for a feature or a trait. You can find these in this little bar, features and traits. You have written those in yourself. Little text bubble appears whenever you hover over one of these, and when you click it, it will send your feature or feat or whatever it is that is in there into the chat, so the DM and your allies can read it up. If you do not want your allies or the DM to read it and you just want to read it for yourself, you can click the name and it will open up, closing it in the same manner. In the middle of the screen, right above your attacks and under your hit points, so over here, we would have hit dice. This tab is used for when you need your hit dice when you're short resting. We use them as the same way as we use any of the other things. We make sure that the correct dice is selected, and then we just click the little word hit dice, and it will show them in chat, and then we can heal an equivalent amount during a short rest. Make sure to reduce or add your hit dice depending on your class features and amounts of short rests. The last button that is on this page that we would like to use would be initiative. How do we use our initiative properly? Well, for now let's close the tab. This is our character. We would click onto our character, have it nicely selected, then open up our sheet from our journal again, and now we will click the initiative button. With so, it will roll the initiative and add us onto the turn order. If we did not select our token, we will not be added to the initiative. And with so, that is almost all. There is just one thing missing. The most horrible one of them. Death saves. Well, when we click those, it is literally, oh no, a question of life and death. When we fail a save, we will take one failure. The only, well, now currently appropriate exception is when you roll a natural 1. You take 2 death failures. For death saves that succeed, you will take 1 for a roll above 10, just like so, or you automatically stand up with 1 hit point remaining with a natural 20. For spellcasters, there is one last part. When you want to prepare spells, depending on your class, you need to prepare spells such as wizards, druids or clerics. You would click this little dot next to your spells, making it red and telling the DM, hey DM, these spells, those are ready. I will be using these spells. Look into the PHB for how many spells you can prepare and how often can you change them up during the game. But with so, thank you for listening in, and you can now go and join your first game and tell your DM, hey DM, I know how to use my character sheet and I'm ready to kick some kobold butt.